it's really cool for Billy to give me this platform to help elevate the women and not only help build the NWA women's locker room and elevate what that is and what that looks like, but even in the future. And I am really excited about this pay-per-view. I think that I've fought hard for this and this idea for a while now. And it's really cool to be able to be in a place where I have a way and a platform to tell the stories in a kind of a way I saw it, and really to help build these girls.
So guys, welcome back to another edition of the Caller Podcast. I am Kenny. Today we have the lovely Mickie James on with us right now. She is a world-renowned women's champion. She is an award-winning country singer and songwriter, and today she is my guest to talk a little bit of wrestling, talk a little bit of music, and talk whatever it is that she wants to talk about. Mickie, what is going on? How are you?
I'm so good. How you doing?
I'm good. I was so glad to finally get you on here. I know you've been like super busy promoting Empowerrr and promoting your single and doing a music video at the same time. So I was just like, man, I hope I can sit down with her and chat a little bit. So I'm glad I got you on here.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much. I have been busy, so busy, busier than ever, I feel like. And I always say that, and then I get more busy. I don't know what happens, but
I mean, when you're busy, it's a good thing.
Yeah, always.
Definitely.
I don't know what I would do if I was not busy. I'd probably go crazy.
Oh my God. It was just like when the pandemic hit and we all had to be indoors for so many months. We didn't know what to do with ourselves. I know like my kids wanted to go outside and they were just like, why can't we go to the park? I'm like, well, the park is closed. And it's like, it's 12 o'clock in the afternoon. What do you mean it's closed? You know?
Yeah. I'm sure it's hard for you. You say you're in Brooklyn. I mean, I'm in the country, so at least Dee can go and run and be outside but everything was shut down. But it was like, obviously for everyone it's different. I can't imagine in that space, because then you're still just stuck in your house. Like I would go insane. That was one of the reasons, and I think that's why a lot of like surgence of podcasts and a lot of these things have really taken off. That we started GAWTV in the middle of the pandemic because we were all going like, I have got to do something.
Exactly. That was one of the reasons why like I started this, was just to connect with like other people.
Right.
Because you like being in the wrestling business, you see fans all the time out in shows. And for me, being a fan, I would go to a lot of meet and greets. I would go to a lot of shows. I'll meet, other fans. So I said, you know what? Let's go on Zoom. Let's go on StreamYard. Let's talk. And just have a good time. And you can, like you said, a lot of these, shows took off, and I'm so glad that a lot of them are still sticking around even after things start to open back up again. I know you have your podcast and stuff like that, and I love it. I've caught a couple of episodes.
Just a little girl talk.
No, but you know what? It's good because at least we get some inside information as a guy.
Yeah, it's fun, and it's fun to do. And I think we're pretty open and authentic, and it's just a way. We started it for one of the same reasons. I mean, like, we always do a bunch of different interviews and we get asked the same questions in the interviews. And we always feel like this is more of a outsider's look. And if you were just kind of hanging out after a show, or not really in the locker room per se, but back at the hotel after the locker room, like after the whole soiree, and we're just chilling back and relaxing like a PJ party with wine and stories and bonfires and
can't go wrong with wine.
You can't.
So I want talk about before was your new single, Grown Ass Woman, right? So you recently shot a video for it.
We did.
Can you give us a little insight as to what we're gonna see in this video?
Well, obviously we go from way back in the country to rooftops in the city, so you're gonna see a little bit of that. And honestly, this song has been, a lot of people like, it's like been a summer anthem. And I'm so excited and so honored to be able to have written the song with the girls and to be able to perform it. And they're just amazing. And if you don't know them yet, you're going to know them because they're going to blow up. Like, I just know it. Their next album comes out on the 28th, which is the same night as Empowerrr. But Grown Ass Woman is on their album as well as the single. And I've obviously been working on my next album as well. But yeah, it's just a female empowerment song. And I guess, that's what I've been screaming about this whole time. It's just a little lady empowerment. And so this is how we sing about it. And I think everyone can sing along.
Well, it's great because that was one of my next questions was, are we gonna get a full album?
Yes. Yeah. I've been working on it and I've done a couple singles off of it. And I said that this album, because I'm not signed with a label or anything,
Hmm.
I'm just kind of pretty much doing my own thing with my own label and really just trying to define that sound. I think that, I've been to now two different labels and I put out my first album on my own and then the second one with E1 Music Nashville. Third one, a bunch of singles, which is when I got the Yin Yang Twin single, the Left Right You Left song, and I did a bunch of stuff with that SMG Music Media out of Grand Rapids. But when I kind of during the pandemic, we're all kind of just taking back control of our lives or just trying to
Hmm.
figure out a new way to do things because you're not radio touring, you're not doing live tours, you're not doing a lot of things. So creatively, I feel like I've written a bunch of stuff.
Hmm.
And a lot of times on the albums that I would get, three songs of my own. And then the rest came from, writers and they're amazing
Right.
songs. But I was like, I really want to try to figure out, define what my sound, what my story in the music world is, because that's kind of why I wanted to go down that path anyway, was to creatively let loose this person that I really couldn't be on television.
Hmm.
So it was, so now I just try to, stay more true to that. And I really want to put out my own stuff. Everything
Hmm.
that's going on this next album, and I'll put them out in a couple singles first as we're
Hmm.
completing the album. But I want it to be all my own songs that I've written, my own sound, my own kind of thing. So I'm excited about that. But I'm putting a lot of time. I feel like I've been working on this album for a while now through
Hmm.
this whole pandemic, obviously. But yeah, I'm
And
excited.
that's great because there's been, and I know this is going to be a really good album because just everybody, like you said, has been locked away for so long that that's the only thing they've been doing is just creating stuff. So everybody's been cranking out different things or trying new stuff, especially like, like for talent in the wrestling business, they've been trying new moves or coming up with new gimmicks to entertain the fans. And then on the music side, you've had a lot of people come out with some amazing singles or trying something new to see what the fans will like about it, So I
Yeah.
definitely can't wait to hear this album
Thank you.
and see what you're going to bring to the table from
Yeah.
the last one, because I know the last one you had before was Hardcore Country
It
was
was the
one of the
hardcore.
singles. Yeah.
Somebody's gonna pay. Hardcore
Uh-huh.
Country was on there. Yeah, that was a fun album. That was such a fun. And it was cool to be able to come out to that music. It was cool to hear that music again when I came back at Slammiversary, and now I've been able to work all this magic for Empowerrr and
Hmm.
NWA. So it's cool to see Hardcore Country again. I think that one's gonna have a little resurgence just by through osmosis. But I go, it's funny because I think that, there's a lot of crazy, obviously the pandemic has sucked.
Hmm.
However, I think if there's one positive that we can all pull from it, hopefully, is that we've kind of gotten back in touch with ourselves
Oh yeah.
because we've been forced to sit back and kind of evaluate things in our
Hmm.
lives and what our goals are and how we're going to get there and how we get there, because everyone's had to absorb all this information differently than they were before. So it's been interesting. And I think it's cool to see a lot of people who are creative by nature, but kind of take the reins of their
Hmm.
own destiny and their own career and just kind of put it out there now, because they've had the time and the energy to sit back and go like, no, wait, I've been doing this whole thing this whole time and now I'm kind of stuck. So I'm actually going to do what I want to do now. That's a really neat thing.
Exactly. And that's what, like I said, that's one of the things that I love because it brings that creative side out of you and it just makes you think like, okay, if I can't do it this way, there has to be another way to, get my name out there,
No
get these
doubt.
projects done. And, people use Zoom, use StreamYard. They went on Instagram and did Instagram live all the time. And I like
Or
for like music
Twitch.
artists. Hmm.
Twitch is blown up, and
Yes.
TikTok now is taken over for music.
Oh
It's
yes,
insane. It's
people use
insane.
every single song to do dances, and that helps the artist, blow up more because now you constantly hearing that song, especially if it's a popular dance. You're
Yeah.
gonna always hear that song. I have two small boys, so sometimes they'll do TikTok dances, and I'm just like, and then the song is stuck in my head. So now what do? You're gonna go on Spotify, you're gonna go on Apple Play, you're gonna try and type it in or
Hear
use
the rest of it or down.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. It's really cool. It's cool because you've seen some artists get over just via TikTok
Hmm.
some obscure artists that you just never heard of before. And all of a sudden the next, overnight they have 1 million downloads. It's insane.
Exactly.
Good for them.
Uh-huh.
That's why
So
I implore everyone right now listening to go ahead and do the GAW challenge to our song, Grown Ass Woman, especially the ladies, but the men too. You can be a gam. It's
there you
all
go.
good. We welcome the gams. So, yeah, go on and get me over so I can get like 1 million downloads on Grown Ass Woman
Exactly.
and do your TikTok challenge or Reels if you prefer. I'm
I say
open.
both.
Both. Do them
There you
both.
go.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You touched on a little bit with NWA, and us as fans, we've seen you step into the square circle. There you go.
I'm not sponsored, but I just figured I'm taking a sip of it. I should show it.
We know that you're a master in the square circle, and now you're stepping into a whole new role as executive producer of NWA. So can you touch on a little bit about that and what are you doing? What are we gonna see from Mickie James in NWA?
I think you're gonna see a woman in power for the
Hmm.
in real power. I think, which is obviously really cool. It's really cool for Billy to give me this platform to help elevate the women and not only help build the NWA women's locker room and elevate what that is and what that looks like, but even in the future. And I am really excited about this pay-per-view. I think that I've fought hard for this and this idea for a while now. And it's really cool to be able to be in a place where I have um, a way and a platform to tell the stories in a kind of a way I saw it, and really to help build these girls and elevate these girls and give them that opportunity, because that's really all it is about, right? Like sometimes
Hmm.
it is about that one opportunity or that one person seeing you in the right place in the right time, and then you skyrocket. And if I can help one person, one girl, and give her the space to where she skyrockets, that's a really, really cool place to be, because somebody did that for me. And every
Hmm.
place that I've been, it's always taken that one person to believe in you enough. And so, obviously, I've been looking at uh, newcomers, people that you haven't seen yet, diamonds in the rough. And I think that's why I announced Tootie Lynn in St. Louis as one of the first people on the card, because she hasn't had that opportunity yet. And I kept, when we announced this pay-per-view happening in St. Louis and in the Chase, and being a part of this NWA 73 weekend, the one name that was, you have to look at Tootie Lynn. You have to look at Tootie Lynn. She's from St. Louis. She's never had, you say you want diamonds in the rough. She's a diamond in the rough. And every day. And I wanted to, make sure that I was listening to the people, because I have always listened to the people in my
Hmm.
matches to understand and know what was working, what wasn't working. And so I think that was no different. And um, even in all the women I'm choosing for the cup and into the tag tournament, being that we're bringing back the NWA Women's Tag Team Championships, they haven't been seen in 34 years, almost the same amount of time since we've been back to the Chase.
Hmm.
So it's just a nostalgic and a historic weekend altogether. And it was already amazing. Like NWA 73 was already going to be amazing because of the history, because we're going back to the Chase, because of we're doing live television just like they did TV at the Chase 30 some years ago. So now to then front load it as the opener, as the kick off the whole weekend with this all women's show for the first time ever, the oldest wrestling company in the United States is now really recognizing women's wrestling as an equal and a platform and a place to where they're getting their own spotlight. And that's really, really cool. And I truly feel that out of this, everyone's going to follow suit. And I think everyone's going to level up their game for their ladies. And I hope that across the board. I really do.
How nerve-wracking is this to put together the first women's pay-per-view for NWA?
It's been a lot. It's been a lot, to the point where my husband, even the other day, is like, I need you to sit down and just not talk about or think about the pay-per-view today, or
Mm-hmm.
at least one day this week. That would be really, really great. And I'm like, I know I'm trying, but I'm taking it very, very seriously because I've put a lot on this. I've put my name on it. I've
Mm-hmm.
put my fight into this for a lot of ways. And to be here and now, like after all of it, and then go like to be given the platform to do it. Well, now I have to back up what I fought for, and
Mm-hmm.
to prove it's a lot to prove. And I want to choose the right women to help me prove it. And I think I'm doing that. And I'm also, really on board with the NWA. Obviously, I've watched quietly and sometimes not so quietly what they've been doing behind the scenes, and
Right.
been very, very supportive. I think it's been incredible to see this resurgence of a brand that I grew up with, you grew up with, like that
Mm-hmm.
really resonated with me as Mickie James, the fan, growing up with wrestling, and why I fell in love with wrestling in the first place was the stories, was the characters, was all of these things. And now to be on this other side of it where they still very much lean into those traditions and the legacy and the nostalgia and shoot it as old school wrestling, but with this modern delivery that we're doing. And to be able to do that for the women, I think it's just going to be really special. It's going to be really, really special. And I'm excited about it.
So with Empower, I know, but before a couple of years back, we had Evolution.
Mm-hmm.
So what is going to be different about Empower women's pay per view that we did not see with, say, the other company, WWE?
Well, there probably will be no pyro.
Okay, that's good. We don't need pyro. Like,
Okay. Okay. Um, I'll say the biggest difference is I don't want this to be a one off. I don't
mhm,
want this to be a one time only. Like my hope and the real energy, and I know it's not just myself. I've talked to Billy about it. Our hope is, this is a very successful pay per view, and this is something that we can do annually to lead into the anniversary show and continue every year to do this as a weekend event. Um, but I think that honestly, we have a point to prove and a position to prove and to really deliver on this night. But I think out of it, once we deliver, because I know that we're going to, I know the ladies across the board are going to, like, there's like limitless options of what we can do and how we can grow. And if we can get to, whether it's just more involvement of the women's stuff on the show. Now we
mhm.
have the tag team championships. It's not just the women's championship to fight for. We have the tag team championships being brought back. Sorry, speaking today. But we also are introducing for the first time ever this inaugural NWA Women's Invitational Cup
Mhm.
that can only be won once a year. So there will be only one winner a year of the top 10 prospects that my team of advisors, which is Jazz, it's Medusa, it's Gail Kim, all women's champions, all legends, all respected women in the business who've been there. They've done that. They've got the t-shirt. They went through the struggles. They know what it takes to be a champion. They've helped me like pick this gauntlet style match where there can be only one winner and one winner a year. So that woman will be that cup holder for the whole year, and she'll get a shot at the NWA Women's Championship the next night, and potentially could go on and be the NWA Women's Champion. So that's a huge thing, and it's a huge thing for a Chelsea Green who's like now going everywhere and damned and determined to make a name for herself. It's a huge win for Tootie Lynn, who people are just seeing for the first time, and then holy crap, the little girl from St. Louis out of nowhere. It's a huge opportunity for all of these women to really take the ball and run with it, and it's cool.
And yeah, it definitely is because I know you have women who are coming in from like other companies as well because you have Deanna Perrazzo coming in, and for some people who only watch NWA and haven't seen her on Impact or
Oh
see
my
her in
god.
AAA, you get the opportunity to see her now and be like, I want to know more.
Exactly.
Or and all the women that are going to be on this card, you'll want to get to know them more and just say like, okay, now I need to go on Instagram and follow them and
1000%.
see
And
where they're going to go next.
you talk about cross branding and these forbidden doors, and I don't believe in that
Hmm.
because I've always heard when the door is shut, find a window.
Hmm.
So
Got to crawl through
I
something.
no doubt. And I haven't worked for this long in the business to make these relationships and to have these friendships and earn the respects of all these locker rooms to not utilize them and to do something really powerful for women's wrestling across the board. And I feel like no particular promotion is doing something specific for their women right now. So even if it's just one night only to celebrate these women, we have AEW representation, we have Impact Now representation with the Knockouts Championship on the line against Melina, who has never seen before.
No, go for it.
We have the Impact Knockouts Championship on the line, and for the first time ever, we saw Melina walk out on Impact Wrestling. She's never stepped foot in an Impact Wrestling ring before. She's never went for the Knockouts Championship before. You know, and the day that she stepped out there was 10 years from her release from WWE. And you talk about how crazy that is. And the response from the crowd to see these two women, like a person who's really, since her departure in this last year and a half, gone to Impact and taken over and redefined herself, and this two-time Knockouts champion. She's got all these things. She's, like you said, she's going to AAA. We have AAA representation. We have them coming. So, and we haven't exactly announced her yet, but Chica Tormenta from AAA will be at Empowerrr. So it was important to me to have these conversations and to talk to AEW and to talk to, you know, whoever. That's why I said out there, whoever wants to do business with James, I want to do business with you because it's about what I'm trying to do, you know, and if you're on my team, awesome. And if you're not on my team, totally cool. But just, I need you to move because I got somewhere to go, you know?
Exactly.
So I'm super excited because everybody seems to be on Team MJ, and that's pretty cool.
It's definitely. I mean, so far, just listening to the concept and listening to all the ideas that you have, I'm super excited for this.
Yeah.
I mean, when it was announced, I was just like, okay, I was so curious. And then when you said, I don't care what promotion you're with, I want you to come here. I want you to represent. And I was just like, if she's opening the doors for anyone to come in, then this pay-per-view is going to be one of the best as a fan that we haven't seen yet. Because like you said, you know, women's wrestling is kind of cooling off a little bit, you know, in certain promotions. It's just not really, you know, and you only have like, if one person does it and they're right behind it, and especially you have somebody who's credible as you know, backing this and saying like, listen, grab my hand and let's just go.
Yeah.
It's only going to take off. It's just going to be like a rocket in the sky.
And no doubt. And when you say that, it's like, I feel like, you know, the women who are the champions or are in line for the championship, most of those are presented in a really amazing way, but those spots are very, very limited. And I just feel on this side of it, where we're here in 2021, I've seen so many women's divisions and women's shows kind of rise up, but not to a national television pay-per-view level. So, but I think that here we are in this place and time in 2021 where I go like, well, why not? We've definitely done like an all men's show. We've done 205 Live. We've done all these things. Why not an all female show? Because there's so much female talent. That's the difference, is there's so much female talent out there right now. So, and they need a place to grow and they need a place to shine and kind of really truly develop to get to that space to be the stars on the next level. So, you know, I just want to help do that. That's really all it's about. And so I'm excited. I'm really excited. And I think this is just the beginning. So
with this new role with NWA, are we ever going to see Mickie James back inside the square circle?
Oh, yeah. I'm wrestling the next night on 73. I've been working out.
There you go.
Well, I think one might look a little better than the other, but I have been working.
Oh, man, that's great because I love to see you perform and just to know that we still get to see Mickie James perform because you have a lot in the tank.
Thank you.
You know, left over. So, you know, sky's the limit for you. So
you're so sweet. Thank you. I'm very excited. I know a lot of people were asking if I was going to wrestle at Empowerrr, and I am taking this role very seriously as executive producer, and I don't feel like I could fulfill that role with the end goal of being like women's wrestling to shine. if I was wrestling on the card. I know it could be done. I know a lot of people do it, but I didn't want to blur my vision or take my eye off the ball. Like I really wanted to do that. So in turn, obviously my first match since my departure, or since, oh God, I don't even remember what match it was. Well, doesn't matter. My first match back in the squared circle will be at NWA 73. And I told Billy that whomever he chooses, because he has given me this platform, he's given me Empowerrr, and we're doing an awesome job, trying to really deliver on it. But because of that, I really want to give him the opportunity to pick whoever he wants for me to wrestle on 73 for the first time. So I'm doing that.
And that's great. So I'm gonna close out the show with this. You're
Okay.
you're respected all around the world in this business. And then you're doing Empowerrr. So what is the best piece of advice that you're giving all these ladies?
Oh God. I think the best piece of advice would be to, it's a hard thing because everybody's career is so different. So it's really hard to find this one piece of advice that really kind of goes across the board. But I think the real thing is to be authentic to yourself and your goal and your vision and what you want. You know what I mean? And a lot of people are going to have a lot of opinions, and a lot of them are good, but some of them are not so good. And even the good ones don't necessarily always work for you. So if you know, and you are just hard at your craft, and you put in your 10,000 hours, and you just keep going and going and really get the reps and really take the time to like define who you are, define your character, define where you're going, like you really can be unstoppable, especially with the right people in your team. So
That's incredible.
yeah.
Mickie, thank you so much for coming on the show and giving us some amazing advice.
You're so sweet, Kenny. Thank you.